Hey guys, McGurkFish65 here, also known as Professor Fish to some people, here to talk about successful fishing trips. Now, one thing that can influence your success, whether you catch fish or not, particularly bass fishing, is the execution of a series of variables. Now, some of these variables are within your control and some are not. You cannot control the weather. You also cannot control whether the fish will strike or not on any given day, and also how they will react to your presentation, like when you're fishing lures or live bait. But there are certain things that you can control. Boat position, equipment selection, lure selection, that sort of thing. Without proper knots tied to your lure, all of that is wasted. Okay? Selection of the appropriate fishing knot and correctly tying it will assure success. I have seen people lose the fish of a lifetime because they tied a poor knot, or because they didn't check the line in between fish and fish strikes and see if it was damaged, or the line breaks at the knot. I mean, there's no reason to lose a gigantic bass, a 13 to 14 pounder, and you might hook down to the stick marsh Farm 13 just because you didn't tie a good knot or you didn't check your line in between fish. So always be mindful of your fishing line and check it frequently while fishing to make sure it's okay. Also, when you tie knots, make sure that you do it carefully, and also wet the line before you cinch the knot down, because especially with monofilament line, you'll actually burn the line due to line friction if you don't wet it first. Okay guys, I'm going to show you my favorite fishing knot. I know this is a personal favorite of Roland Martin, and Bill Dance prefers this one. I watched a Bill Dance fishing video once on plastic worm fishing, and he said two of the knots that he likes to use the most are the double loop clinch knot and the Palomar knot. The one that I'm going to show you today is the Palomar. Now, this is a very strong knot. It holds nearly 100% of the line strength. I have tested it on a line machine before. If you tie this knot correctly, it will hold up even under the intense pressure of a large bass and heavy cover and a good fight. Also works well in saltwater. Doesn't matter what type of fish, it's a great knot. Now, it's an easy knot to tie. Basically, if you can tie the first knot that you tie when you tie your shoe, or an overhead knot, you can tie the Palomar. Now, in order to show this, I'm going to use a shark hook, about a 20-aught, and hopefully you can see that on the camera, and a piece of Stren Super Braid. I think this is like 50-pound test line. They're clear blue, but it looks kind of whitish, but you should be able to see it well on the camera, because sometimes monofilament and that sort of thing doesn't show up well on a television camera, and I want you guys to be able to see this on your computer or your smartphone, or however you're watching McGurkFish65 outdoors. So the way you're going to start is you double the line. So we're going to make a loop on the end and double the line. Alright, so this would be the tag and the standing end that go back to the fishing reel if we were using a rod and reel. So you double the line, you take the hook or the bait, and you see the eye. We're going to put the double line through the eye, like so. So basically we just have a doubled line going through a hook, no big deal. Now what you do above the hook, or above the lure if you're using a lure, is to tie the first knot like when you tie your shoe, a simple overhand knot or a simple hitch. So you end up with a circle above your hook and a loop out here on the end. Now you don't want to cinch this up at this point because you're going to do one other thing to complete the knot. So you have this loop here where my middle finger is and a circle or a loop above the hook. What you do is you grasp the hook, take this circle, pass the hook through it, okay? Grab all the tag ends down here below and then pull tight. Okay? And do it slowly so that you don't burn. Now if it's hanging up on one end or the other, you simply pull the opposite end. You cinch it up. If this were monofilament, like I said, you would wet it first. You could wet its braid so like that and pull it tight. Okay? That's well held. That is pretty much a 100% strong fishing knot. It'll work well. It'll serve you well. So it's simple to tie. That's called a Palomar knot. I recommend you use it. It's my personal favorite. There's nothing to tie in it, and it works. Okay? So if you like what you saw today, please like and subscribe. And as always, please comment down below if you have any criticism about the show or anything constructive to say. I would appreciate hearing it. You'll notice now we've gone to full field high definition camera. No more cell phone cameras here. And I'm also obtaining a GoPro, so we're going to shoot some first person footage and start including more fishing footage or actual fishing action for you. Since we're going to do instruction along the way, but you got to see us catch fish too, otherwise this is kind of boring. Okay? So, like and subscribe, and until then, we'll catch you next time. Like a Hellcat.